everybody. My name is Hannah. It's Hebrew, but you can say Hannah like Hana if you need to. Totally fine. My pronouns are they, them. So I was a teacher here in the DC area for 8 years, and I certainly encountered and participated in lots of diagnoses with various mental health challenges. I was often part of, a group with parents and other teachers to evaluate or reevaluate the mental health state of students. I appreciate that one of these questions is about our opinions on mental health diagnoses. I have lots of opinions about these. I taught in predominantly Black and socioeconomically disadvantaged areas, and the number of young men of color who came into these meetings with severe ADHD, where, I would look at them in class and just think, this is just a kid who is bored. A lot of the time in schools, unfortunately, it's possible for, parents who want additional resources for their kids, or frankly, teachers who were somewhat misguided in how they were handling things, for kids to as we see when we read Rosenhan, this permanence of a mental health diagnosis. The kid really gets this idea that they have ADHD and they will never not be able to have it. And so they feel stupid and incapable, and it really helps hold people back. So that's just one example of a lot of feelings that I have about that. I also was diagnosed with bipolar when I was 15 years old, when I was a child. And a really good therapist I have had was suspicious about that. To what extent does your little teenage brain learn a diagnosis, learn a series of symptoms? We really don't know. We don't have conclusive evidence about that, right? Hysteria was totally a legitimate diagnosis pretty recently, the whole wandering uterus situation. So I think we have a lot to learn about diagnoses, and frankly, whether the DSM is currently a really useful manual in every sense, I have my questions about it. Essentially, I tend to be interested in terms like post-traumatic stress recovery, and I have, a mania tendency and sometimes a depression tendency. But this concept of disorder, that all these brains over here were born with disorders and all these brains over here were born totally fine, I have questions about it. Thanks for listening.